What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video for the Scored Scoop. Today, I'm going to be bringing you another mock draft. This one's going to be the first one we're going to do with trade, so I'm excited to bring you that. Just a disclaimer, I set it up as a 3-round mock draft, but I'm only going to be doing a first round. The only reason I did it as a 3 is because I had to trade some picks to San Francisco for Deshaun Watson, or to Houston for Deshaun Watson from San Francisco. So Houston's going to be getting the 12th pick in this, just so that that makes sense to you guys when I do it. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right, with pick 1, I don't really think I need an explanation here. Trevor Lawrence, best player on the board. Now, pick 2, the New York Jets. I have Justin Fields being the next best player on the board for them. A lot of people like Zach Wilson here. A lot of people like Penny Sewell here. But I'm going to give them Justin Fields just because he played in a better conference. He played against better opposition. And I feel like he is just more NFL ready than Zach Wilson. And usually I'm against that type of pick. But for the New York Jets, I feel like that's what they need right now. They've got somewhat of they've got a somewhat young core around Fields with Mims and Crowder and a good line, somewhat good line. I don't want to go praising the Jets here. They are what they are, but I think Justin Fields is the right pick for them just to get them going in the right direction. Pick 3, I'm going to be trading this pick to the Philadelphia Eagles, so bear with me here. This pick is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles, and I'm only trading down from this because Flores has said he's going to be taking a pick in the top 10, which doesn't mean pick 3. And they also released Kyle Van Noy, which leads me to believe they're going to be taking a linebacker in the draft, and there isn't a linebacker worthy of taking at pick 3. So I'm going to have the Philadelphia Eagles going Devonta Smith at pick 3. I think he's the best receiver on the board. I really like Jamar Chase as a player, but I don't think he's the same type of player Devonta Smith can be impactfully. Devonta Smith has got his size problems, sure, but he's super speedy. He's the best receiver in college football history this year, maybe even. And I'm excited to see what he can do if he goes to Philadelphia. At pick 4 to the Atlanta Falcons, I like Matt Ryan. Don't get me wrong, and I think Zach Wilson's going to sit behind him this year. But it's time to move on in Atlanta. They've had enough bad seasons in a row that you have to look towards Matt Ryan and say, is this the best guy for the job? And I think the answer for that right now is no. Pick 5, best player on the board, Penny Sewell. Rashaan Slater is good. Kyle Pitts is good. Jamar Chase is good even. But I don't think you go that way if you're the Cincinnati Bengals in this round. At pick 6, and this is the first real reach. If you watch my Miami Dolphins video, you'll see Micah Parsons at pick number 6. He's very talented. I can't stress that enough. He's a great edge rusher. He's great at poking the ball out. He's great at getting to the quarterback. Doesn't even have to hit him, just hurrying the quarterback, getting him out of the pocket, and just bringing him into a team with not as much pass rush dependability. Without Van Noy now, even bringing in Micah Parsons is a really good pick for them. And I know it's a bit of a reach. I know it's a bit unpopular, especially with Jamar Chase on the board. But I think that's what they're going to do at pick 6. Pick 6. Pick 7 to the Detroit Lions. I'm going to actually go here with a bit of an unpopular one again. I'm going to go all the way down. No, I'm not. I'm going to go right here to Rashaan Slater, because Rashaan Slater as a player, he's just showing improvement. I like him just because he's so big, and at tackle for a team with Jared Goff now, who's had his injury problems, he's really just a player that positionally they need more than they need anything else on the board, other than maybe Jamar Chase, but they might not lose Marvin Jones and Galladay. They might lose one of them. So I think Rashaan Slater at 7 is the safest pick for them. Pick 8, to the Carolina Panthers, and I'm going to go Kyle Pitts here instead of Trey Lance and instead of Mac Jones. But I think Kyle Pitts at pick 8 is a really good pick for them because right now their tight ends are Mannertz and Ian Thomas. And while Bridgewater isn't the answer, and we've acknowledged that and we accept that, I just don't see them taking Trey Lance at pick 8. I feel like it's too early for him. He's got tremendous arm power, but it's not the same type of impact QB that you get out of Zach Wilson Fields or Trevor Lawrence. It's just a big drop off from that level. And to get another weapon with McCaffrey, DJ Moore, and Robbie Anderson, it matters what QB you have, but it doesn't matter as much if you have one of the most talented players on the board in your team. Pick 9 to the Denver Broncos. I have explained all I needed to on Trey Lance. I'm not very high on him as a prospect, but for a team, and I usually like defending the young quarterbacks, but Drew Lock has given me no reason to. I'm sure Drew Lock will get his chances with Trey Lance there, but pick 9, Trey Lance to the Denver Broncos. Pick 10, Dallas Cowboys, and their defense is atrocious. It really is, and that's why I'm going to be going edge rusher. I'm going to be going Gregory Rousseau, and it's a weird pick because they've got DeMarcus Lawrence on one side. They've got Jalen Smith on and Leighton Van Der Esch in linebacker. But on that other side, they're kind of vacant. And I think Gregory Rousseau bringing that in just makes for a scary pass rush. And they're liking taking the best player on the board. They took CeeDee Lamb when he wasn't exactly the biggest positional need. So I think bringing in Gregory Rousseau just resembles what kind of organization the Cowboys are. They want the big names players out of big schools, and that's what he is. Pick 11 to the New York Giants. And I cannot believe he fell this far because he's one of the best players on the board for me. I'm going to give the New York Giants Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase at LSU when he was with Justin Jefferson was the best receiver on that team with Burrow. He was injured this year, which is why I'm having him fall. And I also just don't think he's as good as Devonta Smith or even Kyle Pitts or Michael Parsons was the pick the Dolphins took just from a positional standpoint. But Jamar Chase at 11, it really just strikes me as just a steal for me. It's almost like how CeeDee Lamb fell. If the Giants get Jamar Chase, they're a different team, and it looks more and more likely to happen as he's falling on the draft board. I'm sorry, just bear with me. I'm going to have to trade Houston's pick over to San Francisco. This might take me a few. Yep. Here we are, San Fran. All right, on to the San Francisco 49ers. We are trading them to Deshaun Watson, and in return, we are trading the Houston Texans the pick at number 12. I'm going to give them a lineman, and they've drafted linemen. They've taken linemen. I'm going to give them an inside offensive lineman, Elijah Vera Tucker out of USC. He's a really good player, but he's not the same type of impact player that they should be taking. And I'm just going to say this straight up. The Houston Texans are terrible at drafting players. So it doesn't surprise me one bit that they would be targeting someone like Elijah Vera Tucker at pick 12. I've seen this before that they've been trading up to 8 and targeting him. So I like that at least they're going 4 picks down and reaching for him. But Elijah Vera Tucker for the Houston Texans is a position that they need, but it's not the biggest impact position. I wouldn't take him if I were them, but I have seen the rumors and I'm going to address them here. Pick 13 to the Los Angeles Chargers, positional needs, best player on the board, Patrick Surtain. If you want to argue with me in the comments, feel free. Pick 14 to the Minnesota Vikings. And this is an interesting pick because they took 2 corners last season. They got Justin Jefferson, so there's no room for Waddle. They've got a good edge rush duo of Danielle Hunter and I'm blanking, but they've got a good edge rush duo. And I think the next real step would be to go to defensive line or offensive line. I'm going to give them an offensive tackle in Christian Darrisaw out of Virginia Tech. He's fallen pretty far down the draft board from when we first started covering college football. I took him at pick 7, I believe. And I've rated this guy because he's so athletic in a way that I think really is only rivaled at the tackle position by Penei Sewell. And Rashaan Slater, sure, he has his things that he does really well. He's big, he's strong, he does what the best tackles do. But I just think Christian Darrisaw taking at pick 14 for the Vikings just gives Kirk Cousins the room in the pocket that he needs, and that's the right pick. Pick 15 to the New England Patriots. They re-signed Cam Newton, so I don't see them taking Mac Jones here. They don't really go receiver in these types of drafts, so I'm actually going to go offensive tackle again, or defensive line. And I'm going to take Christian Barmore out of Alabama. It's a big name from Alabama, and they usually don't do that type of thing, but they're going to be losing Lawrence Guy in free agency. There's a good chance that they're losing Brandon Copeland. I know it's a linebacker, but they're losing defensive players and they're losing them fast. So they want to be able to replace them in the draft. And defensive line isn't exactly the position that they have the most players available in. So I think Christian Barmore at 15 makes a lot of sense for them. Pick 16 to the Arizona Cardinals. Now you look at the best player on the board, and you see Caleb Farley, you see Kwity Paye, you see Jalen Waddle. But I'm actually going to take J.C. Horn here. I rate Caleb Farley as a player, not as highly as some other people, but I do rate him as a player. I just think J.C. Horn is more NFL ready, and I think J.C. Horn coming into a team which has right now Patrick Peterson, who might be retiring this season, and Dre Kirkpatrick, who is far past his prime, is just the speedy option you get in that cornerback package. And keeping both of them on the team, I don't even want any of them to leave. I think J.C. Horn bringing into that team, maybe even as just a slot corner this year, is a real impact player. Pick 17 to Vegas, Caleb Farley, best player on the board. Pick 18, and he fell. And receivers are falling, and I say it all the time. I don't like receivers early in the draft. I'm going to say it again, and don't call me biased because I'm not. Jalen Waddle is falling to 18 to the Dolphins. He was injured all year, and as good as his combine might be, receivers fall. Remember last year, Jerry Jeudy was supposed to go pick 5, CeeDee Lamb pick 7, Ruggs pick 11. Ruggs went pick 11, and he shouldn't have. But these things happen, and the receivers are going to fall. Don't worry about it. Leave something in the comments if you want to argue with me that this receiver class is different. I disagree. I will argue back. Pick 19, Washington football team. Mac Jones, positional needs. He won the national championship, so he already has more titles than the Washington football team's roster combined. So he brings that experience in big games that they won't need. Pick 20 to the Chicago Bears. Now, you see a team in need of a quarterback, but it's too bad that Mac Jones just got picked. They don't need an edge rusher. They don't need a defensive lineman, a linebacker, sorry. They do, in fact, need Rashad Bateman, though. And that is exactly what they're going to go for. And now here come the big position players on the board. Rashad Bateman, Jalen Waddle, Mac Jones, right in the last 3 picks. This is NFL fantasy players' dreams watching this draft now. Rashad Bateman, he ran a 4.3 recently, which is absolutely unbelievable for a guy of his size. And I wouldn't even be surprised if he got taken over Waddle now. But bringing him into Chicago, where Trubisky is short of receivers, especially with Allen Robinson's free agency talks, even though he got tagged, I still wouldn't be surprised if they traded him. Bringing in Rashad Bateman just makes up for all that ground. I'm not saying he'll be as good as Robinson right away, but I'm saying he can make up for that. Pick 21 to the Indianapolis Colts. Now you don't got the QB on the board again, but I think the way you go is actually receiver. And this really sucks for them because they don't really have that much going for them. And I'm actually not going to go receiver. I'm going to go best player on the board, and that's Kwity Paye out of Michigan. DeForest Buckner's good in the center, and so is Khalifa Al-Muhammad. I think if I pronounced that wrong, let me know. I'm sorry. but the edge rusher position is actually not that strong, so that makes it the perfect pick for them, and is just the best player on the board. Pick 22 to the Tennessee Titans, and their offense is so ridiculously good at what they do, but I don't think they need any help there anyways. I'm actually going to go linebacker here. Best player on the board again out of Notre Dame, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. And I earlier, when I did my first mock draft, I had him going at pick 6 to the Philadelphia Eagles, which is ridiculous. But he's a good player, and I actually can't believe I had him falling this far. Well, I do believe it because he did. But Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is a very good player, and I hope he gets a really good contract at Tennessee if that happens. And it looks like a good fit for him. Looking up a little bit, I feel like I could have taken him here at 17 with Vegas, but Caleb Farley probably is the right pick going there. Owusu-Koramoah, good player at 22. 23 of the Jets. Now, this is a team where they really just are short on great options everywhere. They don't really have anything going for them now with Justin Fields. So now you go and take a tackle to protect him, right? No, you don't, because they did that last year to protect Darnold. So you're going to go and get the best player on the board, regardless of what position he plays. And that's an edge rusher. Azeez Ojulari, nope, he's the best player on this board. You're going to take Najee Harris out of Alabama. He is the best running back on the board. I like Travis Etienne as a player, and I think he might be better for the college game. But I think Najee Harris coming into an NFL team, and if it's the Jets, he won't be good. Don't get me wrong. He's going to be terrible if he's on the Jets because the Jets are almost rivaling a little team up here, if you know what I mean. But Najee Harris coming into a team, a good player for fantasy options, a really good player for Alabama. He killed Owusu-Koramoah's team, Notre Dame. And I'd be interested to see what happens when he gets there. Pick 24 to the Pittsburgh Steelers, another team that's not really in the market for positional needs players. So they're going to be going best player available also. And I'm going to be dropping a little bit farther down here to Travis Etienne. They're going to go 2 running backs in a row just because there's really not that much depth in positions that the Steelers need. And I know QB is getting old, but Kyle Trask is not exactly the option you want. No disrespect to him, but he's not exactly Mac Jones or Trevor Lawrence. Travis Etienne with James Conner leaving, and even if James Conner was staying, Travis Etienne brings you a much stronger run game, especially with the line they have. And it surprised me that James Conner wasn't better than he was, but bringing in Travis Etienne could revive the Steelers' run game that once held Le'Veon Bell in there. Pick 25 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars are doing a really good job at rebuilding just because they get the number 1 pick, obviously. But what you want to do when you have a player like Lawrence is you want to build an offensive line around him. And I'm actually going to take Wyatt Davis out of Ohio State. He's a really, really solid player. And I just think you get you get Cannon out, you keep Norwell, you keep Wyatt Davis in the center, and you keep the tackles out there, and you've built yourself a line that can protect the number 1 overall quarterback. Pick 26 to the Cleveland Browns. I just think right now this is a team that's super stacked. And I'm going to go safety. I'm going to go Trayvon Moehrig. I don't know if I pronounced that right. But Trayvon Moehrig Woodyard. I've never seen that last name. But he's the best safety on the board. And I've seen a lot of things saying this safety class, one of them is going to be the next Antoine Winfield. And I think if we're going to take our best bet here, it's going to be this man. Pick 27 to the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to take the best receiver on the board. And in my opinion, it's not Tony, it's not Marshall, it's not St. Brown. I'm going to take Rondale Moore out of Purdue. He's fast. He's really good at route running. I feel like he complements Marquise Brown, and that's why I'm going to take him at pick 27. Pick 28, I'm actually going to trade this from the Saints. I'm going to trade this to the Atlanta Falcons. And I know this isn't likely to happen, but I'm going to do this because the Saints are not in need of a big defensive player, and that's what the Falcons are in need of. So I'm going to go ahead and give them their edge rusher, and I'm going to give them Jalen Phillips out of Miami. Again, another guy that could rush the passer, help them maybe get their mojo back on defense from their Super Bowl season. Pick 29 to the Green Bay Packers, and I am not going to be taking a receiver. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be taking a running back. I'm sorry. I'm going to be taking a very strong cornerback, and that's actually Eric Stokes out of Georgia. And I'm not even on the Kevin King hate train because I dislike that strongly when people do that. But I think Eric Stokes just gives you a slot corner coverage that isn't matched by anyone in this draft class because he's so fast. He's one of the fastest corners, I think, coming into pre-draft that I've ever seen coming out of it. And getting him into Green Bay is big. Pick 30 to the Buffalo Bills. This team is super stacked, so I don't really see anything that they need. So I'm going to go best player available here. And I'm actually going to give them Samuel Cosmi from Texas. Big, strong tackle, could potentially help protect Josh Allen and help outside run game. Nothing much to it, just best player available. Pick 31 to the Chiefs. And as much as I want to give them a gadget player, I'm going to take a tackle just because they need it. I'm taking Jalen Mayfield here just out of pity. I feel so bad for Mahomes. And pick 32. Leonard Fournette's a free agent. Ronald Jones doesn't seem to be what they need. I'm going to take Javonte Williams out of North Carolina. Usually a position player is picked at 32, and I'm just going to keep that going. I hope you guys all liked the video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. Leave a comment about what you think I did wrong or did right. And as always, come back for more mock draft content. Turn on your post notifications, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.